So here we are, beautiful California, home of rust-free everything, and I just found 92 ES300 manual transmission. I don't even know how, but got the trans pulled here, got the shifter, another MAF, my rear proportioning valve here that I needed. It's all rusted out, totally rust free. Fortunately, the rest of the car was stripped out. I was hoping to get the center console and some other stuff, but it's been here almost a month, so I wasn't quick enough to get here, but luckily the trans was still here. I looked up the VIN on Lexus owners, where you can pull up the service history, and it was former Toyota employee that had it, took real good care of it. Looks like it has an IS steering wheel or something a little bit newer that fit on there, I guess. But take a quick look here and just appreciate the rust-free climate here. Like the exhaust, everything looks brand new essentially. Calipers, I think I'm going to pull the calipers because I need both of these for factory calipers. Those are good to have. And I got here about 10:30 and I had the trans out by 12:30. Just using basic tools, and then dropped the subframe down and pulled it out of here. Everything came loose quickly, easily, zero problems breaking anything free. The shifter cables, unfortunately, they are secured behind the heater core, so I'm not going to be able to grab those. But I did grab the shifter, so I can kind of work on that, so I don't have to use mine. But yeah, way back in there behind the heater core, there's two little bolts that hold it in. So forget that. That's too much work to get those out. Yeah, I was hoping they had a cluster for sure. I saw it in the pictures when it got here, but yeah, it's gone. So it's just totally ironic and a coincidence that I even found this thing. I was just looking online and searching inventories, and there it was, the shifter. So super happy. Can use this now to build it, don't have to pull mine out and have downtime, and see what we can do with this thing. Yeah, very cool. So I'll have to ship it back to Wisconsin, but the hard part is done. Trans is out, and we're about a half hour east of LA right now. So I don't know what I'm going to do next, but this is the end of this part. So the mission was a success. We got all the parts. You never know until you get them to the cashier, pay for everything, get them in the car, that you can actually celebrate. But I'll just kind of go over what I got here. So my prior video, I said these came in all 92 to 96 ES, but it looks like these only came in 92, 93. So this is the valve, proportioning valve in the rear that I broke, because this one was all kind of gummed up on mine, rusted. This broke. This one's perfect. So I'm just going to take this off of here, put it on mine, and then hang on to this valve for in case mine gets completely useless or starts leaking or whatever, because this is essentially rust free. The only thing, the rubber is kind of heat worn. It's not really pliable anymore, but I think my rubber is in a better condition than this, but this valve is obviously better condition than mine. So success there. Here I've got the MAF. So this is going to let us cut the top off and modify it, advance the cog or the wheel 3 clicks, I believe it is, to lean it out. So we can swap this on the dyno and then put the factory one back in afterwards, or kind of do a back-to-back comparison without messing with the same math. So that way we have an extra one just to mess around with. Then we've got the shifter. I'm assuming this is the same as the Camry, but again, I'm also assuming that this isn't very widely available, or I can't just go buy one of these somewhere. So this is going to allow me to kind of take it apart and see if there's bushings in here or how to tighten this up. Because if you remember in the prior video, there's just quite a bit of lateral movement while in gear. So we're going to see if we can firm that up, and then possibly, I don't think we need to change these rubber ones to solid bushings, but that is a common modification. So the base is solid. And then we could even go as far as shortening this one, and I know it's not actually a true short shifter because you're not changing the pivot point at all, but the actual just lever itself could be shorter possibly. But if not, we'll just leave it as is and hopefully tighten up any kind of wear items or replace them inside there. Again, it's beneficial because I don't have to take my car entirely apart to do so. I've got the extra parts here. So moving along, we have the two factory rear calipers, totally rust free. I mean, these are, you can't really buy anything better than this. I don't know, I don't think they make them anymore from the dealer, but yeah, you're not shaking, rolling the dice on an eBay unit or used unit that you don't know if you're going to get a reman or original one. But these are definitely original because there's no surface rust whatsoever, and they are in good working order. So again, I can swap these on. My left rear has a snapped bleed nipple, and then the right rear is aftermarket. It's all rusty. So finally we have the transmission. This was fun to kind of move around, get in the back of the car, all that good stuff. Luckily they had wheelbarrows at the salvage yard I went to. But this one I know, so I ran, what I mentioned earlier, I ran the VIN through Lexus Owners, the website where you can pull up the service history on the VIN and everything. And I learned that about 50,000 miles ago this vehicle had a new clutch, pressure plate, slave cylinder installed. So that's why I grabbed this, because this is a newish factory slave cylinder. So the fluid I checked was a nice, clear, light golden fluid. Again, that was changed probably 50,000 miles ago when the clutch was done. Everything on here is as expected. I mean, there's nothing really shocking about it. The factory sealant here, that red sealant, that's factory, same as the one I have. And then the clutch slave cylinder. The reason I took this, like I said, because this is factory, a newer OEM one, and then I grabbed this so I can kind of create some kind of bypass for this. It's just nice to have these hard lines, which are obviously no longer available. But whether we do like stainless braided line, like a 3AN, 10 millimeter 3AN fitting here or something, and then we just have a hard line to here and just bypass that entire thing, that would work. But this is perfect. I mean, the odds of finding something like this, I can't even think of what the possibilities or probabilities are of finding a manual transmission car like this in a salvage yard. So this way, like I said, we can get this all looked at, opened up. Ideally, we want to find some type of LSD or Torsen differential, like a TRD unit. But I've got a guy, Tim Zimmer, over at TMZ Performance, who does everything with transmissions. He knows a lot of different stuff inside and out. So I'm going to pick his brain and see what we can do between this and the E153, or what other parts might potentially work in here. The other thing you want to look at on these, any transmission in general, is really the input shaft. You want to make sure there's no twisting of the splines or any kind of issues with those. Nothing here. Like I said, this is a very robust transmission. Typically you want to use an OEM throwout bearing, even if you do aftermarket clutch. So we might, as long as this works with like a clutch, ACT clutch kit or something, we'll probably keep this. Because I think there's like a street, ACT street disc or street package, some kind of thing that would work for this transmission. Flywheel, I know there's a Fidanza aluminum flywheel for this transmission. That's a possibility. We could also do OEM, but if we're looking to save weight and kind of that rotating mass, it's probably a good way to save 10 pounds or whatever it is. I don't know how light those things are, but from steel down to aluminum is pretty significant. So we'll get this in a box and get this shipped back to Wisconsin, and yeah, this is good. This is real good. And other updates, I found a couple AEM Series 2 boxes that might work for the car. There's a we just need something that'll work with the distributor and then 6 cylinders essentially. So I don't know if I want to do the full standalone. I don't know. I think it's just going to be a lot easier to do some kind of piggyback to modify fuel and timing, but the drivetrain here, I mean, that's a huge part of the problem I had originally, or the issues I might thought of popped up with this. So secondly is going to be the manifolds, tubular, or what the options are for that to get the turbo setup working. But I mean, really, that's it. I mean, we've got the engine management and then the exhaust, and then, I mean, that's really it. There's not much more to do with it. You know, the car is running. Everything is functioning correctly. So essentially you just gotta do something with the exhaust and then slap the turbo on and manage the fuel and ignition, and then make sure the power itself can be transferred through the transmission and then to the ground successfully. So we got the big pieces out of the way. Yeah, I just can't even get over how crazy it was to find this, and it's good to know that I have a spare transmission now for activities and building. So, all right, yeah, it's just a cool find, and I wanted to share it with everyone. And that's all I got for this one. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for the turbo build, the exhaust manifold, the standalone, all that good stuff. And I'll bring just some more fun videos.